welcome to or welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lena and I make college and book related content here on YouTube, and today will be a study with me during finals week. I don't really know if you could consider it studying since technically I didn't have any in-person exams and things like that. I actually just had papers as well as a Shakespeare performance that we did for my Shakespeare course, but I'm just calling it a study with me because it's me working on schoolwork all day, and in college and school, you just kind of say study to apply to all schoolwork. So this was the Tuesday of our finals week, and basically during this time, I'd just finished my Shakespeare performance on Monday night. As I said in my last video, I had done my Middlemarch project and submitted that on Friday. So what I had left for this week was to write a reflection paper on my Shakespeare performance and just the course in general. I had to write my final seminar paper for my Jane Austen English senior seminar, and then I also had to finish up my Anne of Brittany project. And so the primary tasks for today were to write my reflection paper because it was due in the afternoon, and then also to work on my Jane Austen paper. So here I'm working on my Jane Austen paper because that needed the most work. I had written a lot of my reflection the previous night, and so I just was planning on revising that in the afternoon. So during this time I was sitting in the yellow pipe room in the library, and what I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at different quotes. So I'm just pulling some quotes that I had been planning on getting and working on some deeper analysis, because typically when I'm writing papers and trying to get in the flow of things, I'll just write insert quote here or insert analysis here, and so I was going back and kind of getting that work and filling in the blanks there. One reason why I love sitting in the yellow pipe room, I've mentioned it many times on this channel, is because it has southern exposure facing windows, and so it just feels so lovely to sit in the warm sun, especially when you're doing something that you don't necessarily want to be doing. This Jane Austen project has been kind of plaguing me just because it's been a lot of work for sure, a lot of research, a lot of trial and error with my topic and things like that. And so right here I was actually doing a little bit more research and kind of reading some articles that I had just found a new article that I wanted to read, and so I was just trying to skim that and get the main point and decide if it was worthwhile using. And then when I was done with my work and getting, well, not really done, but getting to a stopping point with my Jane Austen work, I ended up going back to my study Carol, which I can now say is number 29 because I no longer have that study Carol, and I really need to charge my computer, and I also needed some resources for my Shakespeare reflection paper, so I went back to get that and then ended up just staying at the Carol and doing work. And so I was just working here on filling in, again, my insert stuff here because I had the rough draft of it mostly, and I was just working on making my points more clear and also revising some of it. But I would also like to add that this paper was also just more low stress because it was a reflection paper and not necessarily an academic scholarly article, and also significantly shorter than my Jane Austen project, and so I definitely was less stressed about this assignment, and I was also using it as a study break from my Jane Austen project because that was quite overwhelming. And so I definitely recommend when you reach a roadblock in your work or anything like that, switching up assignments and things like that is really great. After lunch, I came back to my room, of course, and made a cup of tea, which was a great addition to my afternoon and also a nice change in scenery. And I basically just finished up the Shakespeare paper, read it once, and then printed it out and went off to submit it and then to the library. And at the library, I got back into the groove of Jane Austen because it was really crunch time. This essay was due the next morning at 9 a.m. and so I really wanted to get the entire thing written tonight so I'd be able to just reread it in the morning and make little tweaks here and there, but I wanted most of it to be done. And so it was definitely a grind to the finish line, and you know, it's tough sitting in these study carrels when there's people all around you, but I was lucky this afternoon because there weren't that many people, and so I just was able to get in the zone and get going. Also enjoy my thinking phase and quietly mouthing words to myself as I type them. In the library for a little over 2 hours, and then I needed to head off to supper so I could go to my shift in the French Writing Center. And so right now I was just gathering some of the books that I knew I would need later on tonight when I was finishing up little parts of my paper, and so I was just going through them and making sure I had the books I needed. After supper, I showed up for work in the French Writing Center, and this was also my last shift in the Writing Center, so it was kind of bittersweet, but I didn't actually end up having any appointments that night, and so I was just able to continue work. But here I was taking a break from Jane Austen because I genuinely needed the brain break, and I was working on my French project, Anne of Brittany, and just making some revisions, which was good because when I'm in the French Writing Center, I like to have my mind be in a French mindset, and so this was very helpful. And then here I was just going through an old draft that I had printed out and looking at all the notes I had made and kind of prioritizing what needed to be done in the next few days, because this project was due 2 days from the time I was filming this. And so after I finished Austen, I knew I'd have to finish this project. And so I was just trying to make a little plan of attack. But that's all for this video today, because after this I had to go do rounds for my CA job, and then I spent the rest of the night doing my Jane Austen project and definitely stayed up way too late, but I was able to finish it in time and submit it in time, which was really great, and I was glad to have that off my back. But I can tell you finals week is now over and I have finished all my finals successfully, and so that is a wonderful feeling, and I really want to say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you all next week.